What if every journey began with the push of a button? Where would you go? With the Mercury Avator's 7.5e electric outboard, all you need is a destination. It's your invitation to fully immerse in the natural world around you. The Avator outboard's portable design and intuitive controls make getting on the water easy, while Quick Connect batteries let you bring along the power you need, so you can be ready no matter where adventure takes you. Stay connected while free to explore with a vivid display that tracks battery level and range. Or plot a course on the intelligent mobile app. Avator connected systems share everything you need to know to get the most from any journey. The all-new Mercury Avator 7.5e outboard. Intelligent, all-electric propulsion designed to make exploring effortless. Let your journey begin with Mercury Avator.
The team at Rapala have been slaving away the past couple of months on the sand flats here to get the most lifelike Yabby impersonation, the Crush City Imposter.
So make sure you get down to your local Rapala stockers, grab a pack before they run out and crush them.
Every sunrise is a promise. It's a celebration of what's to come. Memories waiting to be made. And adventures to be had. Each new day is an open invitation to live beautifully. Make every day more beautiful with Maui Gym.
Am I leaving you hanging?
We're live.
We are live. It's the start of 2024. Obviously, we haven't quite got our stuff together yet. It's been a busy Christmas for myself, Steve Morgan, and
Nicole, who's making sure we have audio and you can all hear us.
yes, Nicole has been roped into being the co-host and being the technical person. So if she's playing with the screen, she's not doing Words with Friends or any of her other favourite games. She's working out if you can actually hear what we've got to say. So welcome to another ABT Tournament year. Probably might be our 25th year of ABT. Started in 1999. It's now 2024. So according to my maths, it's somewhere around quarter of a century we have been running tournaments for. Seen a lot of anglers come and go. Seen a lot of other tournament organisers come and go. Some of them have been pretty humorous over the years, but you know that's you got stories like that after you've been doing it for this long. But all I can say is ABT's in a pretty good place at the moment. You did all the sponsorship last year, Nicole. What was the attitude amongst all of our sponsors?
Pretty much everyone was like, we want to do more Barra events. We want more of everything. Count us in. Whatever you're doing, we are there. So
yeah, I heard you whinging. Oh, I've run out of Barra events to sell. Oh, I've run out of Bass events to sell. That's not a problem. That's a good thing.
No, it's very exciting. I think from a sponsor's point of view, they're loving the support anglers are giving them. They're loving getting involved themselves, especially like we just did Barra Tour at the end of the year. So many of the guys that sponsor the events are there in person and just product development, talking to anglers, getting that live feedback I think they're just realising the value of that to
I
their
think
business.
this industry needs nothing more than Michael Starkey dressed up as Supergirl.
No one needs that. ever.
Josh Lowry, what was Josh dressed up as? I don't know, Batman or something like that.
He was Batman.
Man, these super high-profile Australian tackle dudes were dressed up as all sorts
But
of
only
weird
your
shit.
brother had his undies on the outside. so-
Timmy had his own, Captain Crush City was there. It was, it's good. It was a real industry get-together. Barra Tour was great this year. We'll talk about it in a little while. It's going to be the first year we're actually going to put a cap on Barra Tour this year. We've never had to do it before, but it's getting so popular at the moment, we don't want it to love itself to death. So we'll talk about that a little bit down the track. But the show tonight, we haven't gone out and shot a lot of segments about tournaments because there haven't been any on. But there have been some modifications to rules and regulations. We've got our new digital entry forms. We just want to go through the process of just the new things we're doing and how we do things so that you can understand exactly what happens on Wednesday when we drop the entry lists. And I think let's start with that. Let's start with the digital entry forms. The entries are open now.
Yes, they have been since the 23rd of December. All ABT members got a newsletter mail out, that last magazine for the year. They got sent to them digitally, as well as the links for all the entry forms for the Bream and the Bass events.
So the feedback about that's been pretty good. If you've done it, do whack some feedback in the bottom there. I do have some prizes tonight. I don't even have any criteria for it, but it's a great bait junkie bag here full of all sorts of different brand stuff. We've got some really cool, check them out. There's some Norrie's laydown minnows in there. They're worth 30-something bucks a pop. Some crush shitties, halcos, all sorts of things are there. So give us some feedback on anything. Nicole's just going to pick something funny out for tonight. We're going to get that away. But what happens? We uploaded those entry forms. You hit upload, and we slammed the doors and locked them up for Christmas. And over Christmas, you all entered heaps of stuff, and we'll get to that in a while too. And we came back, and over the holidays, the feedback was pretty good. You knocked together those forms. Kim came back into the office a couple of days ago and was like, "Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff."
Yeah, we've never had so many pre-entries, which we'll talk about. But yeah, so I think it was just nice and simple for everyone. They could do it sitting on their phone in front of the TV. No need to print anything out.
Fill your details out once and then just tick stuff.
Yep.
So the way it works, we opened it up before Christmas, those forms. Everyone's been putting their forms in. Tomorrow, Wednesday morning, will be the cut-off for the early entries. And at that point, we'll get all of the entries that have been together, put them in their lists, and then rattle those things up. So if you got your entry in first day, doesn't matter. You can get it in tomorrow, or you can get it in the first day, and you're all treated as being an early entry because entries are open on Wednesday, and all the pre-entries get juggled around. Now, Nicole, go through some numbers because I'm just going to expectation manage, because you could, in the Bream tournament, have entered very early and be 46th boater away, and that's on the first day of entries. And then after that point, entries go on in order we've received. So tell us where we're at with some of the events, and starting, of course, in the Vicky road trip.
Yeah, let's start in Victoria. So we've got Blue Rock Glen Maggie, a bass doubleheader, is going to kick off the season this year. If you're a non-boater, get those entries in. There's plenty spots for you. We've got 16 boats entered into those two events at the moment. For Blue Rock, we've got 6 non-boaters. For Glen Maggie, 5 non-boaters. So plenty
10
of spots.
10 spots free in each of those.
Yeah, you're a non-boater sitting on the fence thinking about it, get an entry in.
And I think that's how it works. I think a lot of non-boaters will look at the entry list and go, "Oh, there's some spots there. I might want to go and do that." Win an event, you can be straight into the grand final. And the grand final next year, it's in middle ground. It's halfway between the extremities of the bass things. It's not in Victoria, it's not in Queensland, sort of in the middle of New South Wales and Lake St Clair, which is a very fishy lake. So bass, yeah, we had 20, low 20s for those events last year. We're nearly at last year's entry numbers already for that. But holy crap, Bream in Vicky road trip, what do we got for that?
Yeah, so first up we head across to Gippsland Lake, so we run that event out of Meetung. We've got 42 boats already in for that one, 40 non-boaters, so we've got a couple spare spots.
Yep.
But again, still very early entries. And then Malakuta, we head to finish up the Vicky road trip, 46 boaters and 47 non-boaters. So as it stands at 6 o'clock tonight, we've got one non-boater who'll be sitting by himself at the bottom of the list.
He won't be sitting by himself. We got more entries coming in. So basically everyone who's entered in all those Vicky road trip events is going to get to do what they want, just a bit of a where are we going to start? Who knows? Some people love starting early. Some people don't like starting early at all. We've got some serial late enterers, Tom Slater, like yourself, that has Tommy entered yet? I don't think we've seen his entries yet. He just loves starting last all the time. Maybe gets a gauge of where everyone's going, and who knows?
He's just a chill guy.
You just think that we'd give the sponsor, like, oh, we'll give you some nice early spots, Tom. You don't put your entry form in, you don't get it. So yeah, he'll be filling them out the week before the tournament like he always does. But yeah, so when we get to Wednesday morning and everyone's paid entries are all chucked in the barrel, Kim draws all of those out in random orders. So if you've entered, say, all 4 of those events, you might start 46th, 1st, 10th, 8th, or there might be some sort of different order. So, you might be lucky. You might get drawn out the top 10 to start each one. If you know where you're going, that's a good thing. So that's how it all works. And then after that point, all of the entry lists will be published on the abt.org.au website.
Yeah, so give us a few hours on Wednesday to get it all sorted.
By Wednesday night.
By Wednesday night, it'll all be up to date and you can see where you're sitting.
Let's segue through to Tassie. This is the one that always have people ring me up all the time like, Explain how it works, Nicole.
Exactly the same process. So let's expectation manage this. And let's just preface this with, we have no control over who's entering Tassie. If you don't get a spot, we can't mind read and know who's still to enter. So it's up to you to get on the phone and ring all your boater mates and convince them to get your spot in Tassie. So for St. Helens at the moment, we've got 18 boats and 22 non-boaters. So of those 22 non-boaters, 7 of you are guaranteed.
Like i.e. travelling or staying with your boater. Yep.
Yeah. So that means we've got another 11 spots.
So we've only got 15 waiting for 11 spots. So as of the first day of tournament entries, it's never been that good actually. If there's only 4 people widowed at the moment waiting for some more boaters, that's great. What about Derwent?
Slightly different. We've got 17 boaters and 23 non-boaters, which gives us still again 7 of the non-boaters have got guaranteed rides. So 16 non-boaters are vying for 10 spots there at the moment.
Now those spots we don't have any. They come out of the hat. If you're a widowed boater and a widowed non-boater and you draw next to each other on the list, that's luck. We don't organise it. We don't sit there, trying to organise who we like and who we don't like. Kim does it all, so we don't even do it. So yeah, by Wednesday night, that's going to be up. Interestingly, the Duo Teams Open, which is the free event, which is in Tassie, that we're going to use to test that Hugh and River venue, sponsored by Duo. Got 3 entries for that so far. Nicole, you're going to get a podium finish as that stands at the moment. Bream Australian Open, already 10 entered for that. So everyone who's entered the Oz Open already is getting a top 10 start on the first day. The Bass Oz Open, 8 entries. That one's going to be huge this year. Last time we ran at Glenbourne, we had 60 plus boaters fishing that event. Plenty of, I think it was like 15 grand first prize. Was it 40? Took home 15 grand maybe?
He won by 40 grams.
By 40 grams he won. So yeah, that's going to be huge. If you want an early start for there, get in, in the next couple of weeks maybe. Bass Oz Open, 8 entries so far. Sorry, the Bass Oz Open's the one at Glenbourne.
Yep.
Bream Oz Open, Sydney Harbour. Queensland Open, even 4 entries for that, so a couple of early birds for that one. Although that's not until about, July or September or
June,
winter.
June 1st and 2nd. Yep.
Winter this year. So that's where we're sitting at the moment, just so that you guys know exactly where we're at. And that's how it works. So come Wednesday night, you can see how it's all dropped out. Any complaints, 1-800-228-244-KIM. Give them to her. So that's pretty cool. Why don't we drop to an ad or two? We're going to monitor some of these comments that are coming here, maybe answer some of those questions, come back with how the grand finals are going to work this year. How's that? 1 minute of scanning for questions, and we are back on track. A few things we're going to answer here at the moment. If you've screwed up your entry form, have any inquiries, business hours, give Kim a call, and that's on the 1-800 number. It's on the forms and on the website. 228 244. That's the free call number. We're probably the only one in Australia that still has a free call number. Probably doesn't cost you anything to call us anyway on your mobile phone plan, but hey, we still do it. I have a very old demographic for the magazine that appreciates a free call still. Where are the entry forms? They're available on our website, abt.org.au. Where have you hidden them, Nicole?
In plain sight.
In plain sight.
Checking out the Bream link, Bream Dial Bream series, the Bass link, 13 Bass Pro series. It's all there. The opens, the series, everything.
Tell us what happened to the Bass Electric series. That's a question we've got.
It's got a new home, so it's not...
It's moved out of home.
It's moved out of home. It grew up and
it's 20
left
years
home.
old.
I know, it's about time. No, so it's just the two of us. We couldn't give it all the love and attention it deserved. We've been at capacity the last couple of years, so the crew from Bluefin Boats, they took over it last year, did an awesome job running it, pulling it all together, and it's gone to live with the guys over there. Brad Ritchie stepped up and said, no, we can take this, run with it and make it huge.
Yep, the captain's being the TD, so you've got a top-notch TD there who's getting imported for all the events. So
I think they've got a website set up now. It's Bass Electric Tour is the name of the series going forward. They've got their calendar set. You can jump on their website. They've got a Facebook page all ready to go. So just search for Bass Electric Tour and you'll be able to check out all the dates, venues. They've got a couple of river rounds in New South Wales, a couple of dam rounds in Queensland.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
So it's not gone. It's just moved out of home, and we still work together very closely on it. So they'll be using our gear and our scales and our stuff like that. So it's like when you move out of home, but you go home and get your washing done because mum and dad still got all the good stuff. So that's what's happening. Let's talk a little bit about the Huon River Round. Some people asking the questions about it, like why isn't it butting straight up against the other pro events, for instance, the other Bream events? Because the good oil we got from our Tassie mates, they said these are the good tides, and we want to assess that Huon River as a potential ABT Bream venue the next time we go to Tassie in 2 years. So we're going to do it on some good tides, which we've got, and it's sort of in between the two kayak events. So we're going to fish a kayak event, race down, run that event on the app. You're going to get your podium finish as you've always wanted in a Bream event currently, and then we're going to run back, do the other kayak event, and then get back into the boating side of the Bream Tasmania tour. So it's very wide, the boundaries. It's free. Everyone. There's a good trophy for it. We're going to have a proper ABT trophy for it.
It's got trophies, it's got badges. The crew at Wilson's Fishing, they have the Duo brand as part of their
plenty of free
now.
Duo lures.
So we've got
lots
of Duo lures arriving in the office this week. So every team that enters is going to get an awesome kit of Duo lures. Badges for top 10, a trophy for the winners.
So for the one tournament ever, you are guaranteed to walk away with more than you paid. Guaranteed, even if you come last. So if you're down in Tassie for that period and want to come and be involved, just fill out the entry form. You can fish with whoever you like. It's like you pick your teammate, fish by yourself if you want, just as long as there's boats on the water. If I can get at least 10 boats on the water to come and assess that venue, we'll soon work out where the fish are and if it is expansive enough to be able to put an event on. Let's face it, St Helens isn't that big. Anywhere bigger than that might be great. So let's give it a crack this year. So that's what that one's all about. The other thing we're going to talk about in this little segment was the grand finals being synchronised. So grand finals have been a little bit, Bass and Bream have been different over the years. Been shared weight, the Bream a lot over the years, and that was always because when you're fishing for potentially a $50,000 boat, you don't want to be angry at the guy in the back that keeps on banging the keggers behind you. So we always thought if it was a shared weight, the boater normally is pre-fished to find the fish, and if the guy in the back's catching him, we didn't want to be any bad blood on there, but it seemed all right the last few years. Ever since COVID, we've run as individual weight grand finals. We've adjusted those bags, so it's 5 for the boater, 3 for the non-boater. That's how it's working for Bream and Bass at the moment. If it's a river event, it's all on app anyway, so you can have as many fish as you like. So what we've done, though, is numbers in the grand final are now synchronised. 30 in the Bream grand final, 30 in the Bass grand final. Because we don't have the Bass Electric series this year, we've been able to dial up the prizes for the Bream and the Bass. So we had the 463 alloy crafts with 60s on them. This year they're going to be 498 alloy crafts with 90s on them. One of them's going to be fully rigged with Garmin, including live scope. One fully rigged with BLA stuff.
Yep, Humminbird,
Minn Kota.
Yep.
We're doing a bit of work with the trailer guys to make sure that they are on some Mickey Mouse trailers this year. They're going to be some pretty shit hot packages by the end of the year. We're really keen to up the ante in those grand finals. And what it means is if I've already got 46 boaters entered for Malakuta, yeah, it's going to be hard to get in the grand final. You know, we don't have a series where 50 boats fish it and 50 get in the grand final. Not there's anything wrong with that, but it's last year Scott Wilson was last in. I think he fished 4 out of a potential 5 events to get in. He was last in last year. So that's just if you want to fish it. If you fish 4 events and do well, you're probably a decent chance of getting in. If you win any event, you're a real good chance of getting in. 100% chance of getting in because you can get in the easy way that way. Or otherwise, you're going to have to follow the tour around. And the top 30 guys, which is, of course, and this is Bream and Bass, last year's winner, all the event winners, and then we backfill those 30 spots with AOY.
And we've got a couple that we'll get in from WA.
Oh, yes.
As well.
We wiggle it a bit for WA. We've got at least 2 anglers that come from WA. They, of course, the WADA guys run all those WA events, or the 2 for us. And we make sure there's always a couple of WA guys because they don't necessarily have the ability to drag their boat all the way across the country to fish as a boater. So it's going to be tight in the grand finals. A lot of guys will be looking at those AOY points because that's what gets you into the grand final. And the only person that's safe at the moment is who won last year, Cromo.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a sneaky look at the entry forms. I think someone's going for AOY this year.
I think there's a couple.
Ticked a lot of boxes. Either was filling out the entry form while drunk or is having a solid stab at it. So, interesting to see. So that's how the grand final is going to work. They're both going to be 3-day grand finals. This is the other change we've made, and it's not a brand new invention from us. We did it nearly 10 years ago. We were doing it this way. When we filmed the Bream grand finals for AFC episodes, we did it. So what happens is 3-day event. First 2 days, all boaters and non-boaters fish together. At the end of day 2, the non-boater champion's crowned, and because we're not crowning the boater champion, the non-boater doesn't then get lost, like saying, you're the winner, and you won the non-boaters, you know. So it's all about the non-boaters on that second day, and then on day 3, we have a cut for the boaters. The non-boaters aren't fishing there. We will use some of those non-boaters as observers. We're going to run it just like the Opens. Observers, they've got their mobile phones, they're filming what's going on. Got live scoreboards, and it makes that third day cut a real event with some awesome coverage. And that's for both the Bream and the Bass. We're aiming to give it Australian Open style coverage at least, if not better.
Yeah, definitely for the Bream, for the Bass, reception issues at St Clair limit a little bit more what we can do live.
I'm not saying it's all going to be live at St Clair, but it will happen. We will have that stuff to chop up. And look, eventually, I don't think there's any secret in the fact that I would love ABT events to be filmed again, and for you to be able to get your pound of flesh by fishing an ABT event and not having to make the content yourself. So this is a step in that direction. Whether we can do it this year, who knows? But my medium-term plan is for those key ABT events like the grand finals. We want to film them. This is how you film stuff, isn't it? You wind the camera around. So we want to film them down the track. So let's bung another hour or 2 on. We're going to come back, talk about another few things, and read some of your questions.
Can cooler keeps your drink upright, accident free, and icy cold.
There you go. The world's quickest scan of questions again there. First was Mitchie the Clown Cone answering a few questions. And by the way, if you ever want to know anything about any of the gossip which has happened in the bass side of the industry, PM, or what do you do, slide into Mitchie Cone's DMs. He wants to know, and he'll tell you. He is the official champion of. So I probably only have to tell this to Mitchie, and you can tell everyone. This is what you win for AOY, a trophy like this. My theory is if you've won AOY, you've probably won a shit ton on the way through. so you don't need more stuff. If you want to make a casual bet with your mates, you can earn some more. So you win a trophy for the AOY. That's in the boaters and the non-boaters, Bream and Bass. And same for Barra, Team of the Year. Actually, Team of the Year might have won a couple of rods as well. A couple of Miller rods last year or something like that. No,
did Tommy and Josh need more rods?
No, they didn't.
No,
Oh no, we gave them to the bottom teams, didn't we? Not the top teams. Yeah. In the Barra Tour, we're all caring and sharing, and we look after the teams that have struggled a little bit. So a lot of prizes went there. Another question was, what about the Rookie of the Year? 100% back for the non-boaters. It's the Duff rods.
Yeah, Steve Duff, like we said, our sponsors were just all for it again this year. Steve Duff was a yes before we got the question out. So love supporting the new non-boaters coming onto the scene. So there'll be, I think, 3 rods each for the non-boater and the bass non-boater rookie
Brim
of the
the
year.
Bass.
Brim of the Bass.
Yep. So, yeah, and there's been some great winners over the years. How good was the story last year of Adam Mears? He started the tournaments in his rookie year. I think he won one event. He also stacked it into the Clarence River. We won't talk about that. I would love those highlights to roll, but we don't have it. Won the Rookie of the Year one year. Then he won the Non-Boater Angler of the Year last year. And this year, he's coming in the boaters. So watch out, boaters. The man is after some of your coin.
And just on that, when we're looking at especially our Victorian opening rounds, there's such a disparity, like 16 boaters already entered, only 6 non-boaters. We hadn't really had that difference in the last couple of years. It's because all these non-boaters have got boats.
Yeah, exactly. They're swapping up. We've got Mearsy, got Troy Lowe's swapping up. I know there's another couple that are...
Tim?
Yep. Oh, yeah, Tim Jones. I saw him coming. Unless you got your entry wrong, mate, but you've entered as a boater, just in case. In the Bream side, Tucker's stepping up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in there? Was another one in the Bream stepping up. But it was great to see both of the non-boater anglers of the year stepping up to the boaters. Going to love trying to win some of their money. They can win my money if they like. It's all good. What goes around comes around. So that's fantastic. So, so Mitchie's the gossip king. He'll tell you what's going on. Trophies for AOY, there's no real prizes for that at the moment. And Rookie of the Year is giving it a red-hot go. Now, one of the things that we're going to do this year, tacking a little bit, I'm introducing in 2025 some rules regarding landing nets in ABT. We used to be very, I suppose, let's rewind a long way 20 years ago. Dave Irvine was a good mate of all of ours at ABT, and we did a lot of work with him making fish-friendly landing nets. He made all the ones for AFC, custom made with all the team colours in them. I think our Barra net is still one of the old AFC ones, so they last a long time. And I've spent the last couple of days working on this article for the Tournament Angler Guide, explaining exactly why we're going to introduce a maximum mesh size for the nets. You can read all about it in the Tournament Angler Guide, but basically don't panic right now. Nothing's going to be brought in this year, but from 2025 onwards, I've got some maximum mesh sizes. Now, the reason for that is we're pretty good at looking after our fish. The one thing we don't do really well at the moment is do everything we can to stop the fins splitting. Over the years, we found that if you split the fins too much on tails, and I can show you some pretty nasty photos of tails being split, the less you can split the fins, the better it is for survival of release fish. And the least we can do as anglers is use smaller mesh nets and not the real bouncy style nets to keep those fins in good nick. So you can read all about it in the Tournament Angler Guide, but Barra will have one mesh size and Bream and Bass will have another smaller mesh size as well. Now, synchronising that is, we're talking to the guys from Shimano again, and they're going to come on. They're going to support us with the Environet brand. So you don't have to have Environets, and when we put it in the rules, you won't have to have an Environet, but you're going to have a mesh which is small enough to not damage the fish. So I think ABT's always been great at having minimum size live wells. They've got to be insulated. They've got to be recirculating. We're always good on the safety of the fish and the safety of anglers. PFDs, kill switches, all these habits that you've got into now. When you're driving down without your kill switch on, you're feeling like something's wrong. So we're keeping on that pathway this year. We're going to make sure that come 2025, our landing nets are very fish friendly. And when I'm having some argument with some dickhead keyboard warrior, I've got the moral high ground, and so have you when it comes to it.
And you've been talking to a lot of our sponsors that are involved with net products as well, just to make sure the products are there.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. We'll make sure that there are ABT-friendly nets on the market, not just from one brand, from multiple brands when that comes in. And I've also been talking to lots of dickhead greenies that try to tell me that I'm a bad boy for going fishing. So just remember when you're arguing with those guys, when we do an app event, for instance, in Queensland, Queensland Fisheries doesn't do freshwater monitoring anymore. The only way they can get the data is from the local stocking group that do a magnificent job collecting all of their own data, like Fitzy's got his web form app that he does. A lot of stocking groups collect their own data, but whenever ABT visits an event, we compile all of the size data. We don't give them the location data, but just the size. We caught 300 Barra, and here are all the size of them. We give that to the local stocking groups, And if it's not the tournament's doing, and if not them doing it themselves, well, no one else is going to do that, and that includes the government. So a lot of the data that we generate from our events goes to fisheries agencies, stocking groups. We're doing our part to monitor. Now, when you extend that, let's talk about, say, the slot limits in the net-free zones in Gippsland Lakes. Like, they can't go to the commercial guys anymore and see what the stocks are like for bream. They've got to get it from recreational or from their own survey data. Now, if governments go out and do their own surveys, dear. So we do our part. We run the tournaments on the apps. We give them the data. You are doing the right thing, and you can tell Keyboard Nelly. Sorry.
Stephen.
I'll get passionate about this subject. We're going to make sure that you can go to catch and release tournament fishing for years to come, because we are an important part of that monitoring process.
There's just a few questions I see coming through at the moment, though, since you've opened the net can.
Yeah, open it.
Nothing's changing, just reinforcing, nothing is changing for 2024. We've got a great article coming out in the Tournament Angler Guide that'll be due out in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
You'll get that digitally and then in the print copy. And then we've got all year to work through what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and where we can go from there, getting ready for 2025. So don't panic just yet.
Well, I'm telling you now, if you've got a rubbery style, big mesh, bouncy landing net, in 2025 you will most likely not be able to run it. But there are versions that are going to be coming on the market which are still swoopable. Or if you want to go gold standard, go the real fine Environet style mesh. But there are going to be versions for the swoopers and versions for the scoopers. So that's how it's going to roll out. And I'm working with the sponsors so that even if you rock up with a non-compliant net, we'll have loaners there. I'll say, yeah, here you go, borrow this one.
The crew at Shimano, even for this year, we know at every Bream, Bass and Barra event, we'll have at least one Environet that we'll be giving away. So
prizes, yeah, we'll be seeding them into the market.
Yeah,
there, so.
helping you get sorted for next year.
Very good. Okay, so there, pulled the band-aid off that one. Let's talk a little bit, if you don't, let's not go to an ad now, let's just roll straight into 2024 sponsors. I'm really good at saying, are you interested in sponsoring? Talk to Nicole. So why don't you give us a report on how all the spottos gone this year, like what are our naming events, etc.?
So all our naming sponsors wanted their spots again for this year. So we are bringing back in 2024 the Daiwa Bream series. We have the Daiwa Bream Australian Open, and for the Queensland Opens, the crew, Josh and Kate at Samaki, they were so keen. Yeah, we want that as well. So you got the Samaki Bream Queensland Open. The new event that we decided to do, the teams event in Tassie.
Yep.
The crew at Wilson's really keen for that. So we got the Duo Tassie Teams Open happening. Over on the bass side, Rapala love getting involved and behind all the bass events. So we've got the 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series again this year. The Rapala Bass Australian Opens happening again. And then over on the Barra side, we'll probably talk a bit more Barra in a little bit.
Yep.
Over on the Barra side, we've got the Xeric Barra Series happening again. The Venom Barra Australian Open is happening again. And then a whole host of sponsors, our key brands, some new faces across our rounds as well this year.
So there you go. Thanks for that, Nicole. Nicole's pre-Christmas agenda is sell all the sponsorship and then give her a few days off over Christmas, and then it's make that tournament guide. So we've been going pretty hard making sure it all happens. And then the reward for finishing all that in time is you get to pack up and do an epic road trip in Victoria, and we can do 4 events there. We're going to leave the car and boat in Victoria and then fly home for a few weeks and then go down and do Tassie. So by about the end of March, we'll have knocked over, a lot of events. Tassie, of course, always a fun time. We're working in conjunction with the guys at Hobie. Chris Purnell and his team are great. We share infrastructure. We share their infrastructure. It's a great time had by all. So that's what's happening with the sponsors. It's we're at levels where tell us a little bit about entry fees. I snuck the entry fees up in Bream this year, and guess how many people complained? No one noticed or no one complained. What it means, though, is I can actually have higher payouts in the Bream. Bream matches Bass now.
Yes.
Yep. So Bass is the same, $275 for a boat, at $150 for a nonny. But 70% of that gets paid back, which means that Bass payouts always looked a little bit more healthy than the Bream payouts. Now they're going to look all the same again, and it's good for us because we only have to do one sort of maths. Don't have to have different ones for each one. So, look, I know some of you out there would love to pay double the entry fee and win double the money, and others would love to have half the entry fee. But we always try to find a decent balance. Over the years, I've had entry fees for tournaments anywhere between $1,100 and $100, and this sort of, 4 events for a grand plus GST is about where it sits. It seems, well, these numbers are telling me that it's a sort of a sweet spot at the moment. Of course, unfortunately, none of us can be pro anglers that just fish the whole time tournaments professionally. You've got to go to America and burn all your money in American dollars to do that. But for weekend warriors, if you win a tournament, or at least even if you come like you're the last check in a tournament, I reckon you should always win at least double your money back. So that's our theory. We pay 1 in 5, and if there's 50 boats, 10th place gets the last check, but that check is double what you paid to get in. So expect that $550 to $600 to be the smallest check. I'm not going to give away checks this year. Check that we're giving away for if you get in the prize money at each of the tournaments.
So looking at Malakuta at the moment, we'll be paying down to 9th place as it stands.
But by the end, it'll be 12th or 13th or 14th. Like we've had fields up to 70 plus at Malakuta in the past. That arena can handle it. Fishing pretty good again. We've had our good times and our poor times at Malakuta, and it's reasonably healthy at the moment. Like the fish mightn't be the biggest, but there's lots of them. That's what makes a good tournament. Lots of fish. Last time we ran the app tournament there, 1,100 fish for 60 boats.
Yep.
Plenty. So that's what's happening with the sponsors this year. What I'm pretty excited about generally is how well ABT anglers and ABT members support the sponsors that we have. Now, when you come to a briefing, Nicole will ask you all of these questions about what's your motor, what are your sunnies, blah, blah, blah. Any information that we can help the companies that really want to know market share, we help with them. And tell us about some of the trends, Nicole, of ABT guys supporting sponsors.
Well, you just have to stand on the bank and look at the boats lined up.
Look at the black motors.
At a Bream or Bassett to see the take-up of Mercury motors in the field.
Well, Mercury have the Mercury bonus, Bream, Bass, and 2024 in Barra as well. So the Barra guys, every single sort of qualifying event we do through the year, $250, $125, $75. That's $400 an event. Mercury kicks in for bonuses. So it's like up around $10,000 in cash they kick in this event. If you're, and let me say, if you go to Mercury saying, oh, I want some spono, they go, if you're as good as you say you are, just go and win all our bonuses. And there are some guys out there who've won plenty of coin with Merc bonuses over the years. So that's the first sponsor bonus we're talking about. But there's other data you've collected, like
sunglasses. So we've had Maui Gym as a sponsor on board for now. This will be their 3rd year. They've gotten behind ABT. They love being in the tournament fishing space, so super keen to be back here again this year. The last couple of years they've given us sunnies, we've given them out as non-boater prizes. This year we're turning it around a little bit. If you get the big fish, so big bream or big bass, at any of the qualifying rounds, you'll get your check for $500 and you'll score yourself a set of Maui Gym sunnies. For that, we'll have the sunnies there on site.
Yeah, it won't be a voucher anymore.
Won't be a voucher this year. You'll be able to pick out the ones, try them on, and walk away with your Maui Gyms then and there. As an extra little bonus this year.
This is cool. I like it.
You like it? They're keen for you guys to be testing out, trying out, playing, experiencing the sunnies for yourself. So we'll have a couple of sample. You would have seen at all the briefings. We had our sample kit. They've doubled our samples for this year. And if you're in the mood for it, you can come and borrow a pair of sunnies for a tournament session to just try them out. And
you don't even have to say, oh, I lost my sunnies, can I borrow a set? You say, I just want to try out some Maui Gyms. Pick a set. We'll give you the set. We'll give you one of the cleaning kits. The only condition is, if you wear it at all, you've got to get that cleaning kit, give a really good clean at the end, because we'll put it back in the box and someone else will probably use it the next time around. And I know guys have borrowed some during the year and they love them. The next event I see the same pair of glasses on their face because they've gone out and they've supported the ABT sponsor. And spoiler alert, one of the equal top brands in ABT amongst anglers already is
Maui Gyms.
Maui Gyms. So thank you very much for doing your bit to support the ABT sponsors. That data is really important when Nicole goes to do her job at the end of the year. So that's awesome. Other cool sponsor bonuses are rolling on from previous years. Tell us about in the bass if you're a non-boater, Nicole.
kit out your wardrobe for Rapala. Love getting behind this one with the jerseys for the non-boaters. So if you've gotten a Rapala jersey in the past, you're going to get a new one at your first non-boater event you fish this year. Wear that jersey both days of the event. If you're the highest placed anglers, you'll score yourself a nice little...
Well, that jersey's all the ones before, the year before.
Yeah.
So you can you don't have to wear the one jersey the whole time. You've got
Especially
an old Rapala
in Victoria
jersey.
with all those events back to back. You
Yep.
can swap clothes.
Rapala jersey, 13 jersey. I don't know what their jersey's going to look like this year. Are they the 13 ones again? We
Not
don't know.
sure.
But there will be some
They're
there
on
for
the
you.
way.
But you can mix and match any of those Rapala brands, of course. I heard the news today that actually 13 Fishing used to be 60% owned by Rapala. As of today, I think it's 100% owned by
that.
Rapala. Yeah, so yeah, one of the great brands, and that 13 Fishing Bass Pro Series has that sponsor bonus, and that's for non-boaters, and that's paid in cash. Same as the Mercury bonus, $250, $125, $75.
And the
paid
big
cash.
fish is $500 cash.
$500. So again, all you don't even have to buy anything from them, just have to wear the shirts, and they just get a whole lot of cool social media pictures with bass in them. So.
And there still could be a couple other little non-boater bonuses on the way. We're just finalising the details, so stay tuned.
Oh, so I've got to cross this one out, don't
Yes.
I? Okay, I can't talk about that one yet. How cool, Barra guys, how cool, if you won one, let us know in the comments down here, how cool was the Venom bonus dollars? Was it called? Venom
bonus bucks.
Venom bonus bucks. Give the guy, if you didn't hear about it in the Barra Tour, give them a rundown of how generous that was.
Yeah, so Cord came and he said, how many metre plus Barra were caught the year before in 2022? So we pulled out all the spreadsheets and there was a lot of metre plus fish, and he turned around and said, well, this year you catch a metre plus fish on Barra Tour, I want to reward you with $500 worth of Wilson fishing tackle. So you got a voucher to go spend at Wilson's for whatever you want. So you could only win it once. And so your first 101 or bigger Barra that you caught, you had to be wearing that Venom hat. And that was it. Had to have the photo with you and the hat and the fish.
Didn't even have to use a Venom rod or anything. Or
No,
Wilson just had to wear this hat. There was a lot of these hats worn on Barra Tour.
And then he said, all right, $500 is great, but they had the Venom naming round at Kinchant Dam. He said, we'll double it.
So it was $1,000, and I think Ben Wilcox won the 1,000 on that one. I think it went off once or twice.
It went off once that night, I think.
But overall, it was $15,500 worth of Wilson product, in addition to all the stuff they give in the tour that they gave to people. And it could be anything you wanted in the Wilson catalog. Oh, I want a surf rod. No problems. I want dark ale, 5.5-inch live mullets. No worries. I want flat shads. I want a Venom rod. Boothie's just there. Yep, you have one. Away it went, and so it was awesome. You could only win it once. If you caught 10 metres, you didn't win it 10 times. But how good was that as a bonus for everyone? And I was talking to Cord the other day, saying, Cord, are you going to do that again? Did that send you broke? He goes, nah, I'm going to give away more next year. So he hasn't quantified that. But Barra guys, you are being looked after as well. Not only the Mercury bonus, but I'm pretty sure the Venom bonus Barra bucks, what it's called, is going to be back with the big novelty check. So how cool is that? Let's drop to an ad. We're going to scan for a few more questions here and come back to you with, let's talk about some venues for 2024.
What are them sons of fishes up to now?
Fellas, I give you the Force Trolling Motor. It is the most powerful, the most efficient on the water.
Yep. Most powerful. We're really in trouble now.
And it's quiet, too. You can't swim here.
What a dumb bass.
Every sunrise is a promise. It's a celebration of what's to come. memories waiting to be made, and adventures to be had. Each new day is an open invitation to live beautifully. Make every day more beautiful with Maui.
Boom. Don't panic about the nets. It's all good. We're not going to sell them on the website. Someone asked that question if we're going to sell them. There is a tackle stores all over the joint will have nets that are very suitable for ABT. Don't panic. It's not going to be a secret society of net holders that you can only get from a certain place. There is we've had the best ever sign up to ABT member stores this year. I've got a few new member stores on, as well as some of the old favourite and faithfuls that we have briefings at. So there's about 12 or 15 ABT member stores now. I think we've got the guys from Hot Tackle on board this year. Tackle World Lawton up in Queensland here are good. Chasing the Complete Angler Cairns guys pretty hard because they took a fair bit of money off us this year. I haven't got any of that back yet, so we'll just wait till the Tournament Angler Guide comes out. You will see that network of ABT friendly stores. Most of them will offer you some sort of ABT discount anyway if you're an ABT guy. But it's great to see those tackle stores getting back involved. Now, what we're talking about in this segment is some of the additions, I suppose, and some of the calendars, I suppose, for this year. Because when we released these preliminarily released these dates last year, there was a lot of good feedback. Everyone was congratulating me on making great calendars. I didn't even make the calendar at all. I handed it all over to Nicole to do now. So congrats, Nicole. You had a lot of people happy about those calendars. Some of the additions were that, of course, we've talked about it already, that Huon River duo sponsored trial event.
Yep, so Declan, we saw your comment. Just jump on the Bream tab on the ABT website. There's an event sheet ready to go for that one. The entry forms, everything's there. It's running out of Franklin down in Tassie, but jump on the website. The whole event sheet's ready to go. And
I guarantee your credit card won't bounce when you enter it. Doesn't cost anything. Just enter it. Just put your name down. Other cool additions we have this year, we're going back to Mondrian for the Barra series. We've sort of flirted with Mondi. It's been a little bit, they don't call it Lake Misery for nothing, but at the moment it's packed full of pretty big fish. They're not easy to catch most of the time. Sometimes they're easy to catch, but we're going to go back there, and I want the Barra guys to vote with their feet and come with it, because we've bundled it up with the Venom Barra Australian Open on a Woonga, so you'll be able to come for a week, do the 3-day Oz Open. That's during the week.
We're going to kick off the Barra season at Mondi, so that's the opening round on Friday and Saturday night. So
on a weekend?
A 2-night event, Friday night, Saturday night on Mondi. Break on Sunday night, travel day to head up to Gladstone for a Wonga. Pre-fish on Sunday night,
yep.
And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the Barra Venom Barra Open on a Wonga.
Basically, it's going to, you watch, that will evolve into the Southern Barra Tour, that whole thing. We had in the mid-2000s when we started Barra Tour, Barra events were huge on a Wonga and Mondi, and it looks like if we can keep the fish in the lakes, it's headed back to that. Plenty of Brisbane Barra experts at the moment, professing to be Barra gods, so come and take all the Barra guys' money. I am one of those, by the way. I'm a Brisbane Barra guy. I only fish in the Barra Tour for Barras and love it.
So on that, entries, we haven't done anything for entries yet for Barra. Let us just kick off the year first. The first Barra events aren't until September, so in the next couple months we'll get that all sorted, and we'll give you plenty notice when that's all going to be live and ready to go, because we do have to have a cap on Barra this year. 50 teams.
We had 46 was our most last year, and it took us 2 hours to put all the boats in at Faust, and I reckon that's about the limit of most people's patience. So we thought we don't want to love those events to death. Currently, I don't think I'm going to put a limit on the Tinaroo ones. We'll never hit the limit anyway. We're only at 20 or 20 something boats for Tinaroo, and possibly not the Mondi one, but I definitely know for that Barra Tour per se, it's going to be that 50 boat cap, because that's about as many boats as you can fit on Kinchant. It's about how many the car park holds at Teenborough and
Faust.
And Faust. Well, yeah, we are parking all up the road there. So look, don't panic about that too. We've never hit that 50 boat limit in the last 10 years. It's just there just in case, because if the lakes don't go over again, man, she's going to be popular. And how good did Faust fish this year? Faust was the best dam this year, numbers of fish and size of fish. It was, often it jumps around depending on stocking levels, but when I did the stats for the stocking groups, it was interesting. The smallest average size was Teenborough, which is ironic because that's where the biggest Barra normally come from, because there's so many little ones in there at the moment. Kincher was the second biggest, and then the biggest event, the biggest fish average size was a 2-day event at Faust, and below that was the 1-day, the overnight event at Faust. So,
and how many of those Faust ones are at the dam wall?
man, they were waiting with their suitcases packed, wanting to go over that wall. They never got there. The cyclone went too far north. So,
during the tournament.
Yeah, they were thinking the cyclone was coming there to get out, but they weren't getting there. So yeah, a bit of a freaky year, this one, with such an accumulation of fish near the dam wall. But we've been doing that event for 20 years, and it's not always like that. So if you rock up there next year, it could be on again, or it might not be on. Might be Faust Point again. Might be the trees. Might be. That's what's so interesting about Barra fishing. Could be anywhere.
And Mark Edmonds, just on your comment, yes, we're still working towards those dates that we had for Barra on the website listed earlier.
Oh yeah, we're not going to change the Barra tour dates. I think the dates are all locked in, aren't they, for the Barra? They're all on the site.
Yep.
We ain't changing them. We only change them if the council come and wrecks the party. Like every single ABT event that we do can get wrecked by the council coming in at the last minute and saying, no event for you. It hasn't happened yet, but it is a risk that we always face. So the council can say, yeah, you're right to run it. When it comes to the crunch, if they don't give us a permit to run it, we can't run it. So Nicole's job is to be nice to council people, to pay the money. Mm-hmm. Even our world record won at Port Stephens last year.
Councils and water authorities.
If you want a loan, hit Port Stephens Council up. They're pretty flush at the moment. So, but yeah, that is always a threat of what we do. But it's been good at the moment. So the Bream tournaments, nine qualifiers in the grand final. 2 of those are in WA. How cool is it to get back into the southwest corner of WA again? Blackwood River is one of the coolest rivers in Australia to fish, and there's one of the events there, and the other one's at Albany, which is like a mini lake with 2 rivers running in it, and it's just big enough so that you can screw it up by going the wrong way. You can't fish everything in one day. So yeah, interesting places in WA. Going back to Tas, of course, Mondi, Huon. There's a bit of variety there, plus all of the favourites. Grand finals for the Bream, Lake Macquarie without the bridge.
Yes.
I'll take you through that process. I talked to everyone who'd won an event. I didn't talk to Franco, actually, because Franco's retired, but I did talk to Mark Healy, Jamie McEwen, the guys that typically fish the bridge, and I'd say, I've got an idea for the grand final. It involves Lake Macquarie, and they're like, woohoo! I go, without the bridge. And they're like, still woohoo! Like, both of them were actually pretty good. They go, yeah, it's actually fairer, maybe, to cut that out of the arena, because... And I'm pretty sure that some of them were thinking, oh, wait a sec, if I couldn't get to the bridge, I'm not going to win either. So I think that came into play for it as well. But yeah, Lake Macquarie without the Swansea Bridge is going to be the arena for the grand final this year. So even if you're qualifying from a long way away, very fishy lake, there's some giants in there, and all of it fishes pretty good. Bass grand final, where are we off to?
We are going to St Clair again this year. So we've got the Australian Open just days before at Glenbourne. We'll pack up and go to St Clair for that 3-day grand final. Yep,
and of course we've got the Starlink now, where we can broadcast the weigh-ins and all that sort of stuff. We won't have the issue we had this year when someone was standing in front of the Starlink and poor old Keegan won the event for 20 seconds.
Well, I said he was going to win one this year.
He did.
For last year.
And that was our standing joke for Bass last year. Keegan now knows what it's like to win an ABT event for 20 seconds. And then we had to back out and give it to the real winner, Ruben Lennox, but... That's what's happening this year. We've got some big stuff going on. It's a pretty huge year for us. Putting it all into context, Nicole works, well, technically half-time, but most of the time on ABT stuff. Your other project is running the After Trade Show each year. I work a little bit for ABT, doing all the things I do, and a little bit for my magazine. My business partner for the magazine is leaving us this year, so our team's getting one person smaller, so there'll probably be a few more burdens for the magazine on there, but we can make those things happen. Plus, we're having a massive ABT year. It is going to be a bloody big year, this one, isn't it?
Yep.
Now that I've said all that, do you quit now?
Yeah.
I think if we haven't got any exciting questions, we're going to roll it up pretty soon. If you've got any questions, we're going to maybe run an ad or two. Oh, by the way, Joey Urquhart, I fixed up the Bass Trophy for you. That's it there. Even though Joey made it, I don't see Joey's name on it yet. What have we got in the questions, Nicole?
Just special requests over on YouTube. The whole come on ABT Live, win an event. So we've got a certain
Oh,
back-to-back Bass Grand Final champion already putting in his request.
That's it. That was a thing last year, wasn't it? Have we had an ABT Live where we could brag about that? No. Let's look at who came on the last ABT Live shows of the year. Braden Shue wins Bass Grand Final. Mark Crompton wins Bream Grand Final.
Troy Dixon.
Dicko. Sorry, mate, you were the odd man out, but there was someone else as well. Who was it? Anyway, it was like nearly 100% success rate of people that we got on. Smashed it.
But even when we did the Vicar show last year, we interviewed
Mario, Tick, one. Mick Johnson.
Yes.
Tick. So, unfortunately, we're not interviewing anyone before the Victorian road trip. This is our show before the Victorian road trip.
It's to level out the playing field.
We don't want to give an unfair advantage to people like Braden who have been milking it for all it's worth. Please enjoy your 2 boats, Braden. Yeah, how good is it? The Bass Electric's gone to the new home. We've got new bigger bluefins being given away this year. AB from Mercury loves it because most events have like 70% Mercuries in them. I did this deal for AB. I need some bigger Mercuries this year. He said, "Yep." I go, "Is that you saying yep?" He said, "Yep." AB, Mercury appreciates all you guys sponsoring because, and I'll just put it into context. Typical market share Australia-wide for outboard companies is 30-something% each for the big two, for Merc and Yamaha. In ABT, it's virtually double that for Merc guys. So if I can't find a better example of how you guys make our job easier, thank you very much, even though we bribed you for a lot of it, for the Mercury dollars. Other questions?
Why don't we flick to an ad, let's pick a winner for our Epic Tackle Pack, and then we'll wrap things up. So we'll be back in 30 seconds when I decide what ad we're going to play.
The team at Rapala have been slaving away the past couple of months on the sand flats here to get the most lifelike Yabby impersonation, the Crush City Imposter.
So make sure you get down to your local Rapala stockers, grab a pack before they run out and crush them.
We're back.
I picked the winner this time. Nicole always picks the winner. I said I'm picking it this time and I went like that. And it said, "Happy New Year to you both," from Raymond Cooper.
Aww.
Good on you, Ray. He's a bit of a stalwart of down in Victoria. I don't know what Ray did, and I think he might be retired now. What did you do, Ray, beforehand? Was he the shearer?
You're telling the story.
I don't know. But anyway, if you are a shearer, you're a shearer with all this tackle now. So, Ray, we'll look up your address on the ABT database. I'm going to get this away to you. There's nothing else on there. I'm going to go home, watch some Big Bash. I'm not saying that we're solid Heat fans, but we are undefeated at the moment.
Good to be a Brisbane Heat fan this week.
For once. How miserable has it been for many years in the past? Miserable.
Tournament Angler Guide goes off to the printers this weekend, so that will be ready digitally. Next week we'll be able to send out a link to everyone. Then you'll find it inserted in your February Fishing Monthly magazines.
And that'll be in February, it'll come out. So if you want access to that, digital's the way to go. You will get it. Now, as always, if you're an ABT member, we email you that free coupon to read the digital Fishing Monthly immediately, before it sort of goes to print even. So
head to the website, abt.org.au, Bream tab, Bass tab, all the events, all the entry forms, the event info sheets, so you know where we're starting from, where we're arenas, so you can start to plan out your trips and travel. It's all there. Those entry forms come first thing Wednesday morning. We'll close off for a second. We'll rifle through. We'll do that random draw. And then if you enter after 9 a.m. on Wednesday, you'll get to the bottom of the list and go on from there.
So I suppose the take-home message is, it's like, oh, God, I wanted to start first at the events this year. You got one more day to get your entry form in, and you might start first at an event or two. And after that, I can guarantee you are not going to start first unless you're leading after day one. And then you can start first all you like. That one's in your hands, that one. So Thanks for joining us tonight. Bit of a different show, talking about some live questions. I'm all for doing all this stuff live. Nicole can produce this to the point where you can just dial guys in live. We don't have to do any pre-records. How about we do that this year? You having a mental breakdown when I'm suggesting that? Yep. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we will see you all
Y'all
at the first events in Victoria.